Hello and welcome back to From a Head Teacher's Perspective with me, Paul Urry. In today's podcast, I want to look into how do we restore the esteem of teaching. Teaching should be an esteemed and noble profession, valued by society. So how did we get here? And how can we rebuild its status? Let's start with a simple but uncomfortable truth. We all say that teaching matters. We all say that teachers shape the future. We all say that education is the bedrock of society. But when we look at how teachers are treated in the media, by policymakers, in pay and workload, in public conversations, it doesn't feel like an esteemed and noble profession. Instead, teaching is often portrayed as something that anyone can do if they fancied it, or worse, a job defined by endless holidays and low accountability. Many teachers feel caught between impossible expectations and declining status. They feel blamed for the ills of society and scrutinised far more than supported. So here's the question we need to ask honestly. What would it actually take to restore teaching as an esteemed and noble profession? It's tempting to start and end the conversation with pay. And pay does matter. When starting salaries are below the national average and when experienced teachers feel their pay hasn't kept pace with inflation or responsibility, that sends a clear signal about societal value. But esteem isn't only about pay. We all know that teachers who stay in the job are not in it for financial reward, but because they believe in its purpose. So if we want to rebuild teachers' status, we need to look at the conditions of the work itself. The workload. Teachers' working hours are consistently amongst the longest of any profession, driven by excessive marking, planning, bureaucracy and data tasks that often feel disconnected from actual impact on children. Autonomy. Teaching should be a profession where expertise is trusted. When teachers feel micromanaged, driven by rigid external frameworks or stripped of their professional judgments, they feel de-skilled and demotivated. Respect. Teachers need to feel respected by their leaders, by parents, by policymakers, by the public, not blamed, criticised or dismissed. One of the surest ways to raise the esteem of any profession is simple. Trust its practitioners. Doctors, lawyers, architects. These are professions that society largely trusts to exercise professional judgment. Teaching should be no different. But too often, teachers feel that their work is subject to second guessing by everyone. Government ministers that have never taught. Journalists who write about education from a distance, commentators who criticise schools without visiting them, parents who question every decision or believe they know better. We need a cultural shift where teachers are recognised as experts whose training, skill and judgment are valued. Part of this problem is narrative. The media portrayal of teaching is too often revolves around the bad apples or the negative anecdotes, lazy stereotypes about long holidays and short hours, endless complaints about falling standards. We need to change the public story about what teaching actually is. Teaching is emotional labour. It's intellectual labour, human-centred, creative, demanding work. A good teacher holds a class of 30 different personalities, abilities and needs. They manage behaviour, teach content, build relationships, differentiate support, assess progress, reflect and adapt, all while on their feet for hours a day. This deserves admiration, not cynicism. We need political leaders, policymakers and media outlets to tell the real story of teaching so that the public understands and values the craft, care and expertise it requires. As head teachers, we have a critical role in rebuilding esteem from within. Do we as leaders treat teaching as an esteemed craft in our own schools? That means, do we value professional development, not compliance? Do we create culture where teachers are trusted to innovate, reflect and improve, not just follow rigid prescriptions? Do we celebrate excellent teaching publicly? And do we protect teachers from unnecessary workload and unreasonable demands? If we want society to respect teachers, we need to start by demonstrating that respect in our own schools and trusts. One of the most damaging aspects of teaching in recent years has been the constant change driven by short-term policy cycles. Curriculum reforms, assessment reforms, accountability changes, all driven by political expediency rather than professional consensus. If we want teaching to regain its status as a noble profession, we need a political settlement that respects the complexity of education and allows for long-term, stable development. A high-status profession isn't one buffeted by constant change. It's one where practitioners can grow, develop expertise, and contribute to shaping the future of their field. So if we could imagine a society where teaching is esteemed and noble, what would we see? I feel that we would see teachers trusted as professionals, schools respected as community anchors, the media that highlights positive stories as well as challenges, parents who support teachers and understand their role, workload that allows teachers to thrive, not just survive, policies that value consistency, depth and expertise over headlines. Restoring the esteem of teaching isn't just a challenge for government. It is a challenge for all of us, for heads to create cultures of respect and trust in our own schools, for the media to tell richer, truer stories about schools and teachers, for politicians to think beyond the next election cycle, and for parents and communities to support and value teachers in their daily interactions. Teaching should be one of the most respected professions in society because education is one of the most profound and lasting goods we can offer. We entrust teachers with our children, our future, our hopes for what society can be. It's time we ensured that this esteem we claim to have for teaching is matched by the way we talk about teachers, the way we treat teachers, trust teachers, and support teachers. The esteem of teaching won't be rebuilt overnight, but it can be rebuilt. And it starts with leadership, respect, and honesty, and an understanding that teaching is not just a job. It is noble work. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please do comment and share with your colleagues. Until next time, thank you and goodbye.